Fred McGriff is in the Baseball Hall of Fame. 493 career home runs, seven shy of 500. Ken R's on here talking baseball. Friday, November 7th, 2025. Fred McGriff, interesting guy in baseball history. 2,460 games in 19 years. Good amount of games. Listen to this. 2,460 games. 2,490 hits. Averaged a hit a game. How about that? 1,349 career runs scored. 1,550 RBIs. I like it. He passed the 1,500 mark. That's my criteria. You play baseball for 19, 20 years. Try to get 1,500 RBIs. Fred McGriff did it. This guy was a slugger. 509 career slugging. That's another criteria. If you're over 500 slugging, you can be classified as a good power hitter. Fred McGriff, power. 4,458 total bases. That's a lot. You passed the 4,000 mark. Does Fred McGriff deserve the Baseball Hall of Fame? He got selected through the Veterans Committee, not the regular selection. I think they go through 10 years and the writers and all that. If you don't get the 75% vote, you're not in. But there's a Veterans Committee that can look at guys and say, hey, he's in. That's how Fred McGriff is in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I'm looking at his career. Played for Toronto, the Padres, the Braves, Tampa Bay, Chicago, Dodgers. Kind of bounced around. I don't like it. Too many teams. He had 2 seasons, 100 runs scored, as high as 111. His high in hits in a season, 182. Homers, 493. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 seasons, 30 or more. That's good. That's good power. His high in homers, 36. Led the league twice in homers. RBIs, he produced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons, 100 RBIs. His high, 107. So he just barely got over 100, but he did it 8 times. Batting average, 284 career. 300 batting average seasons, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 19 years, not enough for me. Total bases, 1 season over 300, 305. So you can classify Fred McGriff a good hitter, a good power hitter, slugger. But I can't put him in the great category. Not enough black marks. What do I mean by black marks? That means you led the league in a certain category. And on Baseball Reference, they blacken your stat. For example, in 1989, he led the league in home runs. So he has a black mark on the 36 home runs. The 36 home runs is darkened in black, meaning he led the league. So it looks like he only has about 2 black marks on his career. Do you know who holds the record for the most black marks in their career? Indicating that they led the league in a certain category so many times. You know who holds the record for the most blackened marks? Leading the league in the category? Babe Ruth. I counted it. 65 black marks. And I added all up. Runs scored. Led the league in homers, obviously. RBIs. He led the league in walks. Led the league in on base. Led the league in slugging. And led the league in total bases. If you add them all up, 65 black marks. You know who's number 2? Ty Cobb, 64. And then another guy who had a lot of them was Rogers Hornsby. He had 55. So when I'm looking at some of these guys' career, I look for the black, the darkened, meaning they led the league. Some guys have 1, 2, 3, 5, 10. Some get to 15. Even some good players get to 20. But the great players, they're just stratosphere black marks. Babe Ruth, 65 of them. I think he holds the record. I don't know if there's anyone else in baseball history who led the league in certain categories the most. I was looking at Jimmy Fox and Lou Gehrig, maybe Henry Aaron. I looked at him, Willie Mays, Stan Musial. They led the league in a lot of their categories when they were playing, but they didn't get up to 65 like Babe Ruth. Can we just settle the debate right now? Babe Ruth is the greatest baseball player of all time. And he did all his record settings in about a 14-year period. Did you know that? First 6 years, he pitched. First 5 or 6 years pitching, then got into hitting. Then he went on a tear. But then one season, he only played half the season. And then and then toward the end of his career, just played a few games. So he has a 22-year career at list. But you subtract the 5 from pitching, that would get you down to 17 as far as stats, offensive stats. So he's at 17, but then you take 1 year where he didn't do much, like his last year. So that's 16. And then you have another 2 seasons. I think there's 2 other seasons where he played half. So that's about 15. I think it's 14 because his first, after he got pitching a little bit, then he just got going a little bit. But then after that, he took off. But if he had 22 straight seasons of quality stats, like start at age 20 and play till age 42, yikes, what kind of numbers would he have had? But still, 14, or we can say getting into the 15-year period of full stats, he has the most black marks, 65 of them. 65 times leading the league in a certain category. That is a record that may never be broken. Amazing. So that's why I consider Babe Ruth the greatest baseball player of all time. If you say Willie Mays or Henry Aaron, okay, fine. Good players. But for example, Aaron broke Ruth's record. We know that. But it was 500 more games he played. Did you know that? And Barry Bonds broke Henry Aaron's record. But again, Bonds 500 or 600 more games than Ruth. Give Ruth 500 more games and let him play in the era of Aaron and Mays and Bonds. How would he have produced? We don't know. Let me ask you this question. You say, well, Babe Ruth played in the 1920s and 30s. and it was different then versus Aaron and Bonds and Mays playing in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. All right, let me reverse it. What if Aaron and Mays and Bonds played in the 1920s and 30s? Would they have produced? Maybe. Maybe they would have. Maybe not. If Ruth was playing in today's age, would he have produced? I think he would have. He would have adjusted. He was that good of a hitter. You know what the difference for me between Aaron, Mays, Bonds, and Ruth? Ruth's batting average, 342 career. That is a huge difference. Along with the power, he had the batting average. Aaron, 305 career. Mays, 302. Bonds, 296. Am I right? Right in there. 290s. And then Mantle, 298. The fact that Ruth had the 700 plus homers and the 342 batting average, that will never be matched in baseball history. All right, I got all off track there. That's Fred McGriff. What do you think of Freddie? Hall of Fame, yes, I'll put him in. 493 homers, 1,550 RBIs. I like it. And the 4,458 total bases. I like that. Not too many black marks. Only 2 for him. All right, Freddie McGriff, put him in. The homers, the RBIs, total bases. Good production. All right, who's next? Interesting guy here. He made the Baseball Hall of Fame also with the Veterans Committee. Joe Torre. Let's look at him. He had 1 year. He had an excellent year. I'm going to look at his career next. I'm out.